Okay, so we all have those apps, right? The ones we use every single day, and they're always changing. A new button appears, the layout gets a facelift, and sometimes the whole thing feels brand new overnight. But have you ever really stopped and thought about how that happens? I mean, who's the mastermind behind the scenes deciding to add that feature or tweak that design? It's not magic, and it's definitely not random. Turns out there's a very specific person whose job it is to orchestrate all of this. And that person is the product manager, or PM for short. Think of them as the guide for a product's entire life journey. Their number one mission? To make sure that whatever the product is, an app, a website, you name it, it's delivering as much value as humanly possible to the people who actually use it.
Now, you'd probably guess the PM role was dreamed up in some Silicon Valley startup, right? Well, the real story is way more surprising, and it has absolutely nothing to do with tech.
Yeah, just look at this timeline. We've got to go way, way back to the 1930s, to Procter & Gamble, of all places. An executive there came up with this idea for a brand man, basically one person whose entire job was to obsess over a single product. This stopped different departments from going off and doing their own thing without talking to each other. That little idea laid all the groundwork. Then, fast forward a few decades, you see ideas from the software world, like Scrum and Lean, start to shape the role into the modern, user-obsessed PM we know today.
So, we know where they came from, but why is this job so important? Well, having a great product manager can literally be the one thing that separates a company's wild success from its complete and utter failure. Let me show you a perfect real-world example.
The stakes are just incredibly high. Without a PM there to connect the dots, to take all the ideas, the user feedback, the business goals, and make sense of it all, companies can so easily go down the wrong path. They end up building things that nobody actually wants or needs. So you can see how this role is like a critical safeguard against disaster.
And this is the perfect case study. Take a look at the original YouTube from back in 2005. It was not the video behemoth we know. It was a video dating site called TuneIn Hookup. And guess what? It was a massive flop. The site was a ghost town. Almost no one was uploading videos because the whole idea just wasn't clicking with people.
But this is where brilliant product management completely saved the company. The team looked closely at what their very few users were actually doing, and they noticed something fascinating. While nobody was uploading dating videos, a couple of people were using it to share random stuff, like a funny clip of their cat or a trip to the zoo. And that was the light bulb moment. They realized their real user need wasn't a niche dating site, it was a super simple platform for sharing any video about anything. That one pivot changed everything and created the YouTube we all use today. That YouTube story is the perfect example of a game-changing strategic pivot. So how do modern PMs make these kinds of decisions? It's not just a lucky guess, believe me. They have a whole toolkit of proven processes and frameworks to guide them. At the very heart of that toolkit is this beautiful continuous loop. Build, measure, learn. This is the engine that drives modern product development. It's a relentless cycle. You build a feature, you measure how people are actually using it with cold, hard data, and then you learn from that data to figure out what to build next. It literally never stops. You're always iterating, always getting a little bit closer to what users really want. And to run that engine, a PM has to be a master juggler. This diagram shows it perfectly. They have to live right in the middle of three different worlds. Business, making sure the product can actually make money. Technology, understanding what's realistic to build. And user experience, or UX, making sure the product is actually a delight to use. It's a tough balancing act. Okay, so if you're trying to live in the center of that diagram, what are the absolute must-have skills you need to not just survive, but actually succeed? This one might be the most critical skill of all: prioritization. You've got endless ideas coming from everywhere. Users, engineers, the CEO. So where on earth do you start? A framework like this action priority matrix is a lifesaver. It helps PMs cut through all the noise by mapping out ideas based on their impact versus how much effort they'll take. And that top left box, quick wins, that's the gold mine. The high impact, low effort stuff that delivers value right away.
And beyond just making lists, a great PM has to have radical empathy to really get inside a user's head. Think back to that YouTube pivot. They have to make decisions based on data, not just gut feelings. And because they're at the center of everything, they have to be master communicators, keeping everyone, from designers to engineers to executives, on the same page and excited about the mission.
So from the brand men of the 1930s to the tech wizards of today, the role of the product manager has never stopped changing. And that leaves us with one big question for the future. In a world that's being completely reshaped by artificial intelligence, what's next? What does the next evolution of the product manager even look like?